Hi, this is Shannon Elliott with Teachasana, and today we're going to talk about Ashtavakrasana, the arm balance, in a couple different ways that, different entry points that may be easier for some of your students that are close and can't quite get it. So the first thing is when we take the leg back and bring it up over the arm, it's important to know it doesn't have to actually come up over the shoulder. So you want to have them get it up as high as they can, and I even have my students lean off to the side so that they can hike it up and lift the right hip up and then lower the hip back down. And then right from the beginning to start to teach them to hug the inner thigh into the arm and to hug the shin in so that you're getting that connection and getting them to see that it's actually, the legs are a huge part of the power of getting this. It's not so much an arm balance as it is the power in the legs. And then we place our hands flat, and there's a couple different ways just to get that initial lift. You can have them cross the left foot over the right, flex the feet, and you squeeze in. So you squeeze the inner thighs as you press down through the arms and lift up. Some students find it easier, left leg forward, right, and squeeze the inner thighs into one another, press down, lift up, and then you can cross. And then those of us that have a challenging time getting that feeling, this is where the blocks sort of give you the power if you raise the floor. So you'd come in the same way, lean to the side, lift the hip, hike the leg up, squeeze in, place the hands on blocks, and then same idea. So you squeeze the inner thighs together and to get the feeling of what it's like to lift, right? Press down, squeeze in. You could even do the whole arm balance on a block for someone that didn't have the fear of falling forward. Okay. And then once they get that, right, again, a couple different entry points. So you can go from leg, you can go from cross, you root down, lift up, and then it's taking the chest forward as the hips come back, right? Bending chaturanga, and then the part of the legs is that you squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the inner thighs into the arm, right? So squeeze the inner thighs, and then from here you can hold it like this, or press down, get the arms straight. Okay. Another way, when they sort of have the setup, but aren't quite getting lift up off the floor, is having them to come onto hardwood floor, a place that they can slide back and forth. You do that initial phase, right? Lift up, hug in, place the hands, cross the legs, okay? And then from here, it's a little like awkward and pretzel-y, right? But you have to take the hips back, slide them on the floor, bring your cheek to the floor, okay? And then once you have that, have them look down, forehead to the floor, lift the shoulders up, and then simply squeeze the legs into the arm. When you squeeze the legs into the arm, that's what lifts you up off the floor. So again, just for review, right? That initial phase, lifting the hip up so that you can hike the arm up as high as you can, away from the elbow. Place the hands. And you can have the legs straight. They can be with hands on blocks, work lifting up, right? Or crossing. Flexing the feet, squeeze, so power the legs, squeeze in, bow forward, squeeze the inner thighs into the arm. And then if they have this comfortably, they can work with straightening the arms. Okay? So Ashtavakrasana, hopefully that will help your students get a little bit of feeling of what the lift-off is, power of the legs. Thanks so much for visiting us today. Leave any feedback. We always love to hear from you. Namaste.